Hey YouTube, today I'm going to do a comparison video because I just acquired this 686 Smith and Wesson and I figured I'd compare it to the 6-inch version I've had a long time. And what we have here in front of us is a pair of Smith and Wesson 686s, and they're both no dashes, which means they were made right after 1980 and it's before they made any changes. These are some of the first ones that were ever made. And before we go any further, I'll show you that neither one of these 357 Magnum Smith & Wessons have anything in them, and we are clear to make this video. So what we have here, this is a 6-inch no-dash Smith & Wesson 686 chambered in 357 Magnum, and I've had this one quite a while, and I've showed it and done comparisons on this channel on several different occasions. But this one here, this gun's in pretty much immaculate condition. It has its original wood target stocks on it. And the difference in this one and the other one is this one's had an action job done on it. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to try and show you on camera what the difference is when you take one of these things right out of the box and when you do a little action work on them. But show you some of the close-ups of it. It's just a Smith & Wesson no-dash 686 with target grips on it. The other one here, this is the one that I just recently acquired. This is also a 686 no-dash, and I'll show you some of the close-ups of it, show you the side of it. And this one is bone stock right out of the box. It also has the original target wood grips on it. And this one, the only difference in this one, it is a 4-inch model. And I'm going to show you, this one is right out of the box. This has never been touched yet. I am going to be doing something about this, but I'm going to show you how this action works. So it works pretty smooth when you pull this hammer back. And the single action on this thing, if you pull the trigger, it's pretty crisp and it's pretty light. Now the double action, it's smooth, but it requires quite a bit of effort to pull this trigger back. And that's always been my complaint with Smith & Wessons. They are so well made. I mean, if you look at this thing, the construction on this thing is absolutely awesome. There's no mem parts in it or anything. It's got adjustable target sights on it and everything. And they build this thing so right. It's got the most beautiful grips of any gun maker that you could ever have. But this double action, it's smooth, but they could have lightened this up a little bit, in my opinion. Now, if you look at my original 6-inch one, I mean, everything works real smooth on it, but it's easier to pull the hammer back. The double or the single action on it is super light. I mean, it's probably 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds, but this is where all the money is, folks, in this action job. When you pull this thing back, it's just so smooth the way this thing works. It's just, you can't ask for a better job. And this is what I sort of wish Smith & Wesson would have done from the factory. This is what separates them from a company like Colt. Now, besides all the polish work and all the finish work that Colt does, they also have these smooth actions from the factory. Now, you can make these Smith & Wessons work just as good as a Colt, and this is living proof here. This gun here is probably one of the best working, smoothest operating revolvers I've ever personally felt. And this one here is a pretty smooth working revolver, but it just needs a little bit of help with the action. Now, for somebody who knows what they're doing, it's pretty simple to do, but I usually leave that kind of stuff to my gunsmith to do. He's the Smith & Wesson whisperer, I refer him to. But I want to do this comparison and show you the side by side. These things are in about the same condition. This one had a couple scratches and stuff on it. It was really dirty when I picked it up. I've only had it a couple days here, and I probably spent 2 hours trying to clean this thing up and make it even presentable. But now it looks pretty good, now that it's had its cleaning done and everything like that. The front of the cylinder was completely black, and I cleaned all that up, got all the burn marks off of it, and now it looks really nice. It's acceptable to me. I don't understand. I agree with people using their firearms and everything, but I think you need to take care of your stuff also. Not only do you need to use your stuff, you need to take care of it. This one here is equally as clean, but I mean, I keep this thing clean. I've had this a long time. I fired a bunch of rounds through it, but as you can see, I mean, I own a cleaning kit, and I always keep them clean. But Smith and Wesson revolvers, especially these pre-lock early model ones, I mean, they are pieces of art. They work really well, but they just need a little bit of help when you get them out of the box. You get that action working just right. And this thing is absolutely awesome. And very near in the future, this one's going to be just as awesome. I mean, I've always wanted one of these 4-inch ones. I've had about every firearm under the earth, and I own so many firearms, I didn't need another gun. I needed another gun like I needed a hole in the head. But I've always wanted one of these, and I just decided to go ahead and do it. So I just purchased this one recently. I got this one online on Gunbroker. And the prices these things are bringing these days, it absolutely amazes me. It blows my mind. It took me about 2 months to figure out one that I could at least freaking not feel too bad about buying. I'm not going to say I didn't overpay for it, but I guess in today's times, I didn't overpay for it. But if I would have bought one of these things 10 years ago, like I probably should have done, I would have been in it a whole lot cheaper than I am now. But anyway, I'm really happy with it, the way it turned out. It's an awesome looking gun. This configuration is probably my favorite Smith & Wesson, the 4-inch 686. And I have several Smith & Wessons, older Smith & Wessons, but this is probably going to end up being my favorite one, is this 4-inch 686. But anyway, I want to show you side by side. These two guns are absolutely identical. The one on the right has a white outline on the sight. The one on the left does not. The grip color is a little bit different, but that varies from Smith & Wesson to Smith & Wesson. I've noticed that over the years. Several of the ones I have different shades of color on the grip, but they're all unique, and they all look like $1 million, if you ask me. They all have their unique features, unique lines, and unique shades that they do. But I'm really happy with this gun, and I'm really happy with this one too. I like them both equally. I just always wanted one of those little 6-inch ones like I just got here, but that doesn't make me like this one any less. But anyway, folks, I just wanted to show you a side by side of two no dash original 686 357 Magnums made by Smith & Wesson. If you have any questions on them, I have individual videos on each one of these things. And like I said, folks, not going off on Smith & Wesson. I just wanted to show you the difference in the action of one that's right out of the box and then one that's had a little bit of work done to it. I think that Smith & Wesson could have probably made the action a little bit smoother from the factory and save people from having to do the action work on them. If you've never fired any other type of revolver or anything like that, this thing's probably going to feel like the cat's meow to you. But I've fired a ton of revolvers, handled a ton of firearms in my time, and I mean, I like this thing a lot, but I know what it can feel like when you do just a little work, and this is where I want it to be. I want it to have this really smooth, really lightened up trigger pull, especially on the double action. Single action, not so much. It really doesn't matter to me because it's got a very acceptable single action from the factory. I mean, how much better can it be than that, folks? There's no take up to it. It's real light, just like most of them are. Anyway, if you have any questions on these, feel free to ask. I'm not a Smith & Wesson revolver expert, but I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. And thank you very much for watching my video today. And you folks have a great day.